Hey folks, it's Dr. Sam, and I want to talk to you today about cataracts. So if you've just been to your eye doctor and he or she has diagnosed you with cataracts, you're probably feeling a little confusion, fear, and maybe even resignation. And you might ask your doctor, are there any natural remedies to reverse cataracts and improve lens health? And he or she'll probably say, no, everybody gets cataracts, it's an aging process, let's schedule you for surgery. Well, I'm here to say that there are many different protocols you can do to reverse cataracts and improve lens health. So first, a disclaimer. The information I'm sharing today is educational only, and it's not a substitute for going to your eye doctor. So a question I get quite frequently is, what causes cataracts? Well, the first reason is a buildup of oxidative stress. The lens of the eye is what we call an avascular structure, which means that no blood vessels run through the lens, so it relies on its nutrient absorption indirectly. So the mitochondria that live in the lens require ATP to be able to produce enough energy to get rid of the oxidative stress. And as we age, we don't get enough oxygenation or hydration in the lens area, our nutrients are impeded. This starts the buildup of free radical damage, which eventually becomes a cataract. Number two, there's a correlation between low glutathione levels and developing cataracts. And I will put a link at the end of this video on a research study which showed that. So glutathione is needed for a healthy lens. Number three, if you are a smoker, you have a higher risk of developing cataracts. Number four, if you're a diabetic, you also have a higher risk of developing cataracts. If you're exposed to chronic blue light, this comes off of our digital devices and LED lights, this can damage your eye tissue. And last but not least, your diet. So if you eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of inflammatory foods, you have a higher risk of developing cataracts. So the first strategy in improving lens health is eating a better diet. A diet that is anti-inflammatory, that is mostly plant-based, so you're getting a high degree of antioxidants. Everything from vitamin A, vitamin C, E, the carotenoids lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, your trace minerals, chromium, selenium, magnesium, and the master antioxidant glutathione, so your sulfur-rich foods. I talk about the rainbow diet. So you're eating those vegetables that have the reds, the orange, the yellows, and the greens. Another thing that's important is getting enough healthy fats and oils into your diet. This is critically important for reducing inflammation and just improving your detoxification pathways. All right, there are 2 points I want to highlight here. The first is the importance of vitamin C. There was a video blog that I reported a study that was done in the UK in 2016, where people increased their dosage of vitamin C and had a lower risk of developing cataracts. The second point is that there's a new type of vitamin E out there called tocotrienols. And in this particular type of vitamin E, there was a study that was done which showed that when the tocotrienols were boosted, there was a lower risk of developing cataracts. Now, some other points that are worth noting: if you have taken pharmaceutical drugs, specifically steroids, for a long time, you have a higher risk of developing cataracts. And that goes for a whole list of pharmaceutical drugs. So you want to check in with your eye doctor on some of the side effects that could be causing cataracts by taking those pharmaceutical drugs. So let's talk a little more about diet. You know, one of the keys for health is a healthy intestinal tract, dietary absorption, gut health. And for most people, they are suffering some type of inflammatory problem in the gut. Now, this could be due to exposure to pesticides, heavy metal toxicity, mold, candida. So if you're one of those people, I would seek out a functional medicine doctor and heal your gut. It may be that you need to increase your probiotics. It may be you need to do some other strategies to change your diet, eating things like more fats and oils, complex carbohydrates, and even more fiber. I also would recommend including your herbs, things like garlic, cilantro, ginger, turmeric, peppermint. The herb family is so supportive for our intestinal health and has a very strong influence on our eye health, specifically the lens health. And last but not least, if you can do it, I would eliminate gluten, dairy, and sugar. And if you do these things, you actually have a very good chance of not only improving your overall wellness, but also your lens health. Okay, so let's talk about eye drops for a minute. This is a very hot topic because out on the market, there used to be different kinds of eye drops that could support lens health. So my advice would be send me an email because this particular type of product is constantly changing on the market. Now, people are always asking about MSM drops. MSM drops are not going to reverse cataracts. They're very helpful in moisturizing and hydrating the eye. And on my website, I have a list of research articles on the benefits of MSM, and I would recommend checking that out, and then you can make your own decision on whether you want to use MSM eye drops as part of your protocol. So I'm going to leave you with this last point. You don't have to live out your doctor's diagnosis. In fact, you can improve your vision at any age. And if you do these steps, you have an excellent chance of improving your lens health. So that's my message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.